alongside Scott Micro for the official introduction of all the drivers. And Scott, I know they have done a tremendous job, a magnificent job, and the drivers, you know, I mean, this is an officially recognised world title, and I think that's been proven by the calibre of driving, number of drivers we've had over here for this race. You know, quite often we hear of world title.
Good evening, I'm Con Migro. On behalf of Brad Thompson, welcome to this inaugural 1987 World Sprint Car Championship brought to you by the America's Cup Festival of Sport. This meeting is a culmination of 3 spectacular nights of sprint car racing. We've had drivers from America, New Zealand, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Northern Territory, and plus the best drivers from Western Australia, featuring Barbagallo, Nash, the Cricky brothers, Bradford, Matter, Foster, Francis, and a whole host of all. You're now going to see a part of Speedway history being made. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Australia's #1 summer sport, Speedway racing.
Heat number 1 for the speed cars, the support section on tonight's Speedway meeting, coming to you from Claremont Speedway in Western Australia for the inaugural World Sprint Car Championship night. This is the final night of racing, and this is the speed cars supporting the big sprint cars. Gavin Migro, the young driver, car number 6, leads them away. Meanwhile, there was car number 9 just going to the infield, but the race continues in front of this enormous crowd that's gathered here to witness Speedway history in the making tonight. But Gavin Migro has stolen the march on the opposition now as he comes down the main straight. He's cleared right away from the rest of the field. He's already established about a 65-metre lead. In second place is Bob Goddard, the man that crashed very spectacularly indeed about 3 weeks ago here on Australian Speedway, but the car has been completely rebuilt thanks to Rod Slater, one of the long-time supporters of speed car racing in this state. Rod Slater, a very generous donation to Bob Goddard, managed to get that car back on the racetrack in one piece. That's the car on screen that I was talking about. Bob Goddard, car 25. Well, Gavin Migro is leading, but smoke now starts to come from the rear of the car number 6, so there could be problems under the bonnet for that driver. Gavin Migro starts to slow down quite dramatically now as the rest of the pack starts to close on him. Bob Goddard is one of those drivers, so we've got a race and a half on our hands now. The 19-year-old Gavin Migro, he's only been driving speed cars for this season, and he's adapted to this division exceptionally well. He previously was one of the state's and Australia's leading Formula 500 drivers. Car number 6, Gavin Migro leading, the 19-year-old from Mount Lawley. In second place, Bob Goddard, one of the most experienced campaigners in the Speedway division, particularly in this section of racing, the speed cars, as they come out of turn 4 onto the main straight. Another tear off. You saw Bob Goddard there reach up to his helmet and take the tear off away, and that's because he was getting very heavily filled in there with mud as the cars move out of turn number 2, down the back straight again. Car number 13, Mike Sully, will be coming up to challenge. There he is just on screen. That's the yellow and blue car now, so we've got great racing here at Australian Speedway as they move down the back straight, they move down the main straight I should say. Gavin Migro still leading. Bob Goddard in second place, then Mike Sully. Well, this is turning out to be a brilliant speed car race. 3 cars, and you can throw a blanket over these 3 competitors as they come out of turn number 3 and 4. Onto the main straight once again, and it's Gavin Migro leading. Bob Goddard in second place, but Mike Sully's right there, keeping them all very, very honest indeed. Moving out of turn number 2, racing down the back straight, and just have a look at the battle for the race lead. Gavin Migro, only a half a car in front now as Bob Goddard comes up under him. Right behind them there is Mike Sully as they come onto the main straight once again. This is superb speed car racing, one of Australia's most traditional speedway divisions. Gavin Migro is withstanding all the pressure that's being applied. Oh, he got crossed up a little there. Bob Goddard went into the tail of the car. Look at Mike Sully. Well, that was a superb piece of inside passing there by Mike Sully on Bob Goddard, but Goddard fights back. Well, the white flag's out. That signifies just 1 lap to go now as the speed cars race through turn number 1. It's Gavin Migro. He has withstood absolutely every challenge that has been thrown at him, and this driver is maturing week by week A very polished performance by Gavin Migros. He pulls the machine out of turn number 4, goes across the line to win heat number 1 of the speed cars. So it's car number 6 first across the line. In second place was car 25. That was Bob Goddard. Then back to car number 13, Mike Sully. What a superb effort by those 3 drivers. And the wins time for the 10 laps was 3:35.76. Drivers coming around now for the second heat of the speed cars. A very talented field featuring the current Australian champion Tom Watson, car number 1, as they race through turn number 1 for the first time. And on the outside there was car number 19. That was Trevor Henderson in the Rotomotion Mobile team. There it is on screen, car number 19, an immaculate race car. This big pack of Australia's best speed cars race out of turn number 4. Onto the main straight they come for the first time. And it's Trevor Henderson out in the lead. But have a look at this big pack of speed cars. We are seeing the leading speed car drivers in Australia at the moment turning on the action in front of this huge crowd, estimated at approximately 20,000 fans have gathered here for this history-making night of Speedway. And it's Trevor Henderson out in front. The Australian champion, Tom Watson. There he is, number 1. He's moved up to second place. Right behind him is the wheel-lifting car number 12 of Jeff Pilgrim. Then we go back to car number 77, which is Ray Brooks. But have a look at the battle for second and third at the moment. The Australian champ, Tom Watson, in second place. Right behind him is Jeff Pilgrim. There goes our race leader just out of camera. That was car number 19, Trevor Henderson. Well, the big pack of speed cars well and truly burning up the racetrack now as they go down the back straight once more. They've got about 6.5 laps now remaining of the second heat of the speed cars. Well, the mobile Rotomotion Mazda, I should say, of Trevor Henderson has been performing exceptionally well tonight. And there he is, he's moved well and truly out in the race lead. Tom Watson's in second place. He is the current Australian champion. Then we go back to Jeff Pilgrim, but what a battle these speed cars are putting up. It's well and truly anybody's race at this moment, with Henderson leading by about 10 car lengths over the Australian champion, Tom Watson. Then back to Jeff Pilgrim. Further back there to Ray Brooks, and then we go right back to Neville Lance, and car number 4, just gaining a place there was Graham Jones. Well, the speed cars, Australia's most traditional speedway division, and they're turning on some great racing for this large crowd. Henderson still leading. The Australian champion, Tom Watson, the man who won the title on this very same racetrack here in Western Australia just 3 weeks ago. He is now setting out to try to catch this race leader, the man we have on screen. There was Watson just flying into your television screens. And car number 19, Trevor Henderson, is still leading. Well, car number 4 just regains the racetrack at the tail of the field. That was Graham Jones, sorry. But the battle well and truly on for the race lead. Trevor Henderson, car number 19, still leading. Car number 1, the Australian champion, Tom Watson, in second place. Off the end of the main straight now, and through turn number 1 they go. The great chase is on, with Trevor Henderson still out in front. In second place, the Australian champ, Tom Watson. There is the gap between first and second. And just we'll wait until these drivers sort themselves out on the main straight. With just 1 lap to go, so it looks like Henderson is going to record his first heat win in a very long time. Yes, it's been an incredibly long time between drinks. Trevor Henderson has had all sorts of diabolical handling problems on board car number 19 for most of the season, but as he moves out of turn 4 for the final time, this will be a popular win because the hometown certainly like this driver. Car number 19, Trevor Henderson first across the line, the Australian champion Tom Watson in second. Then we go right back to third place. That'll be car number 14, Neville Lance. And the time for the 10 laps, the wins time, we'll pick it up in a moment. There it is on screen, a 3:27.09.
Yeah, as I said, the missing is starting now.
Saddle starting to let the word be known that he is absolutely dinkum and wants to get out there and go racing. And a very good evening now, officially, to Wayne Chuck Reddy.
Drivers coming around now for the B main qualifying feature. 25 laps 17 cars. And a very important race indeed for these drivers, because only 4 of those 17 drivers can officially qualify for the 1987 inaugural World Sprint Car title, carrying prize money in excess of $53,000, and only 4 of those drivers can make it into that final. So those 17 cars, they have got nothing to lose. They have got 25 laps of racing. They must finish in the first 4. The green flag goes on and the race is underway, and car number 20 from America leads the way now, but we've got David Gratz here spun off the racetrack. That's the Northern Territory driver. Extremely bad luck for him, but Shane Carson from America, car number 20, is now about 100 metres out in front. The second place driver is the New Zealand champion, Lyndon Kendall. Moves out of turn number 2, down the back straight. This big pack of sprint cars, 17 in all, and only 4 drivers can qualify as they race down the back straight into turn number 3 and 4, and it's Shane Carson out in front. In second place is the New Zealand driver, Lyndon Kendall. Then we go back to Tony Matter, car number 29 from Western Australia, and the next best is car number, I think it's 20, yes it is, that's of course Randy Smith from America. But our race leader, car number 20 in the white car, that was what confused me. We've got 2 car number 20s and they're both from America, but the white car out in front is Shane Carson. The other car number 20 is the orange car of Randy Smith. But Shane Carson, I have never seen a race car driver work a car as much as what Shane Carson does. Those front wheels turn left, right and centre. There they are working overtime now on car number 20 as he races down the back straight into turn number 3 and 4. Just have a look at the way he's working that machine. Onto the main straight he comes. Shane Carson, our race leader. In second place is the New Zealand champion, Lyndon Kendall. Then we go back to Tony Matter, car number 29 from Western Australia. Car number 73, the pink car on screen is Kramer Williamson from Pennsylvania in the United States. Then back to the current state champion from WA. That is Lee Foster, the driver right behind him, giving him a very torrid time indeed, is the West Australian outlaw, Des J. Nash. But back with our race leader. And this guy has had some extremely bad luck in the first 2 nights of qualifying, but now hopefully he has got car number 20 well and truly sorted out and dialed in to this very big racetrack here at Claremont in Western Australia, playing host to the inaugural World Sprint Car Championship for 1987. We've got drama packed back through the pack as Gary Satori, car number 40 from Western Australia, has exploded in a cloud of smoke. You can see the smoke there across the TV screen, and very shortly Shane Carson will be catching that car of Gary Satori. He is causing all sorts of problems on the racetrack, and there is the driver in question, Gary Satori, car number 41. The other driver involved in that merely was car number 11 from the Northern Territory, which was David Gratz. But our race leader, Shane Carson, well, what an incident-packed race this has been. But certainly not for the race leader, because Shane Carson has driven a precision race. That is car number 20. There he is on screen. Meanwhile, Gary Satori's car has exploded in flame on the infield. There it is. It was just being extinguished from the fast-moving fire crew here tonight. They moved very quickly onto Gary Satori's car. But have a look at Shane Carson working overtime behind the wheel of car number 20. And now he goes up to lap the slower cars with just 14 laps remaining. 14 laps remaining. And now to take you through the second half of this B-main qualifying for the 1987 World Sprint Car Championship. It's over to my fellow commentator this evening, Wayne Chuck Redmond.
Thanks very much, Brad. Yes, well, what an absolute blister this fellow is putting in. And that is Shane Carson from Pennsylvania. Absolutely flying and looking to get up and now into the big final, the 87 World Sprint Car Championship. By gee, this boy has had more than his fair share of bad luck over the previous 2 nights, but he is really coming good when it matters most. Shane Carson roaring around the Claremont Speedway circuit here in Perth, Western Australia, and he is absolutely driving off the planet. There goes Axie Boland there, and Lyndall Kendall in the number 12 car. Tony Matter from Western Australia in the number 29 car is starting to work his way up. But this fella out in front is doing everything right, has built up a huge lead. Absolutely smoking around the Claremont Speedway circuit at the moment, and this is Australian Speedway, world-class Speedway at its best. Absolutely flying now as Carson starts to weave his way through the slower traffic, and this is when it all comes down to the wire. When you happen to be this quick, it is very, very hard indeed to keep the concentration going and not miscue, if you like, when overlapping the slower traffic. It's all Shane Carson in that car right there, number 20. Beautiful line, hikes the left-hand front wheel, charges down off turn number 2, down the back straightaway, and absolutely unbelievable stuff. The timing clock clicking away over there, and Shane Carson hanging around in the mid 17-second laps, which is going to be more than good enough to take this man to the big win. Car number 20, with only 7 laps to go, Shane Carson doing it exceptionally well as he runs around there in the number 20 car. Tony Matter from Western Australia, car number 29, sitting in the second spot, about to come underneath the South Australian. Back then it was Lee Foster in the number 8 car from Western Australia, trying to see if he can get through. He's locked into that 3rd place. But out, and there he goes, Lee Foster in the number 8 car. It is all Shane Carson out in front. He's enjoying about 200 metres out in front. Tony Matters in 2nd. Lee Foster's in 3rd. Kramer Williamson from the USA, car number 73, is in 4th. And starting to close now on the boys in 2nd and 3rd. There's our race leader once again. Car number 20 has not put a foot wrong, and the man is driving like a man possessed at the moment. He has done everything right to the letter. Kramer Williamson there in the number 73 car. Still in the 4th place now, looks to go around the outside. Tony Matter, car number 29, still in that 2nd spot ahead of Lee Foster. We see our race leader now, Shane Carson, with only under 3 laps to go. In fact, just 2 laps to go for this man right here in car number 20. Shane Carson absolutely flying down the back straightaway. That lead is probably stretched out to nearly half a lap. Tony Matter in 2nd place. In 3rd is Lee Foster. In 4th, Kramer Williamson from the United States of America. Our race leader has already received the... Billy Barrows, number 75, spins onto the grass, manages to keep the car going, but here he comes, checkered flags out, and Shane Carson takes the win in devastating style there ahead of Tony Matter. In 3rd place would have been Lee Foster ahead of Kramer Williamson, but what a great drive. Those 4 drivers now earn the right to go into the World Sprint Car Championship final. Wins time was 7 minutes 30.05.
This is unbelievable. Turn up for the books. Ron Cricky is back.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please put your hands together for the daredevils from the media and sporting world who are out there to do battle. 6 very brave, and I venture to suggest rather frightened young men at the moment out there, going to have their own little squirt. Tommy Blackalla has to pick himself the reigning state champion's car, of course. Tom wants to take a prize back to the US of A. Peter Holland it was, got jammed in gear, couldn't get the car going. That's what the problem was. Okay, waiting for him to come around now. And General's going to send them on their way. Okay, green lights flash. Oh, have a look at Lance O'Connor. Give it the big squirt. Straight into turn number 1. There goes Tommy Blackalla around the outside now of Ron Alexander. Lance O'Connor down the back straight and doing it very, very nicely too at this stage. Here comes Tommy Blackalla. Oh, the skipper of USA, and he's charging after this Australian who represents the America's Cup Festival of Sport. It's Gage Roads all over again. Oh, we got an Australian out in front from the America's Cup Festival of Sport. We got the skipper USA trying to run him down. Back there in third is Ron Alexander, a little bit further back to Rod Waller. Alan Primrose is starting to get the feel of things at this stage. And Rod Marsh is driving past the grandstand. That's about all you can say. Oh, Lance O'Connor a little bit wide. Here comes Blackadder, gonna monster him. Oh, Tommy's got the Jennifer up and it's full of air. She's blowing around real hard as he chases after the little turbo-powered Datsun. I don't know, maybe Ian Murray needed a turbo power. It isn't the way they're going at the moment. There goes Blackadder. Blackadder, a lot of black track experience. Lance O'Connor sees Rod Marsh driving around the track. Tries to go round 3 wide, and Tommy Blackadder grabs the lead away. Tommy Blackadder out in front over Lance O'Connor, then back to Ron Alexander. Lend us your binoculars while I look back now for Rod Waller. Here comes Alan Primrose, and Rodney Marsh is out on the track. Okay, Tommy Blackadder, he's going back to the USA and going to say, hot damn, I beat the Aussies. Tommy Blackadder out there, skipper of USA. Oh, he's used to driving a Daytona in a Porsche. I think the number 15 car is slightly less powerful and the dirt's slightly less grippy than Daytona. He's having a ball out there. They're doing 22.47s, good, respectable times. Tommy Blackadder having a ball. Let's see what Tommy can do this time around. As Rod Waller comes past us, and here comes Big Tom. Big Tom at 22.79 that time. Lance O'Connor. Come on, Lance, get into it, son. They're at the halfway mark in this 10-lapper. Big Ron Alexander in the 71 car. And hello, somebody's been passed. Oh, it's Rod Marsh. Well, you know. Oh, well, poor old Rod. Yeah, he's got that complaint. Hasn't passed a thing all day. Car number 73, Rod Waller coming round now. And here comes Tommy Blackadder around to put a second lap up on Bacchus. Lance O'Connor back there in second place. Big Ron Alexander starting to get to grips with the car now. Oh, got it up to 35 miles an hour down the straight that time. Tommy Blackadder now comes up behind Rod Waller. Come on, Lance, get into it, son. You can catch this bloke. Yeah, he's run into an air pocket. Here he comes up behind Rod Marsh. Look out, Rodney, there's a car coming at you, son. Oh, Tommy Blackadder around the outside of Bacchus Marsh. Lance O'Connor just keeps peddling the little 280Z Datsun as hard as he can pedal. And Ron Alexander says, hey, I got third. That's okay. West Coast Eagles are going to, if they can get third on the ladder before the final round starts, he'll be happy. But Tommy Blackadder out in front. He is doing it like a pro. Driven, of course, at Daytona in the Porsche team, 22.75. Lance O'Connor, about the only thing he's ever driven was driven his parents mad, but he's back there in second, 2 laps to go. There goes Ron Alexander, a big car for a big man, but a little bit light in the right foot department at this stage. Here comes Rod Waller in car number 7, and a little bit back behind him once again. Tommy Blackadder gets the white flag, 1 lap left to go. Big Tom in car number 15, Lance O'Connor for Western Australia in car 37. Then we go back to third place. That's Big Ron Alexander about to monster Rod Waller. And here comes Rodney Marsh. Oh, Rod Marsh in car 105. Yeah, Rodney. How about it, girls and boys and ladies and gentlemen? Put your hands together for Tommy Blackadder. Skipper of USA takes out the big celebrity win. Lance O'Connor coming down in second spot. Third place will go to Ron Alexander in the 71 car. And Alan Primrose, in fact, was almost lapped. He came in 5th place. 4th place goes to Rod Waller, and Rodney Marsh goes across the line to get the checkered flag. Oh, what a top race out there. And come on, Speedway fans, put your hands together for him. Couldn't get into the grand final of the America's Cup, but showed the Aussies the way around, Mr. Tom Blackadder. Of the world's fastest drivers from America
and Australia are just about to be sent underway for 35 laps. They're off and racing. Steve Fraser's gone sideways right in front of the oncoming traffic. Cars have gone left, right and centre. And we've got action aplenty on the raceway. What a disaster for the start of the world title. We've got several cars with blown tyres. Steve Brazier went sideways on the main straight. That is the New South Wales driver. There he is on camera. Jimmy Souls, that driver there, car number 75, has also blown a rear tyre. Oh, bits and pieces of race cars are being picked up. What a drama-packed beginning to this world final. There is the 15-year-old Jeff Gordon from America. I hope that his car is not badly damaged. There is Max Dumsney, the Victorian driver. Drama at the beginning of the 1987 World Sprint Car title. The drivers were racing before the officials had put the green lights on. It resulted in Steve Brazier from New South Wales going sideways on the main straight right in front of the 20-car field. The red lights have come on and we'll pick the 1987 inaugural World Sprint Car Championship back up at the restart. Okay. Drama out on the racetrack at the moment. The drivers are not obeying the officials' orders. They are now getting into line at long last. And we could be getting this world final underway. We are, and this time it was a clean dispatch as they come off the end of the main straight now, race into turn number 1. And it's the West Australian driver, Ron Cricky, who moves into first place. And Alf Barbagallo from WA, the hometown heroes, are first and second. The former 7-times Australian champion, Gary Rush from New South Wales, has gone into third place. And the great news is that the young 15-year-old American, Jeff Gordon, is back in the race. He has been able to repair the car, and Jeff Gordon's back in the race in about position number 10. But there is the race leader, Ron Cricky, the 1985 Australian Sprint Car champion and a former 2-times West Australian champion, on his home track, performing in front of a huge crowd, estimated to between 18 and 20,000 race fans, as history is unfolding before our very eyes. The inaugural World Sprint Car title. The best drivers from Australia, New Zealand and America have been competing over the last 3 nights of racing, and now this is the culminating in the 1987 World Sprint Car title, with Ron Cricky leading from Western Australia, Alf Barbagallo in second place, then back to New South Wales 25. That, of course, is Gary Rush. Further back there we'll try to pick that driver up. Could be David Gratz from the Northern Territory. If that is so, that's a brilliant drive by him. Or could it be Danny Lasowski? We'll try to pick that competitor up. It is Lasowski. Danny Lasowski from USA. Well, what a tremendous race it's being driven at the moment by Ron Cricky. Car number 99 from Western Australia. He is cleared right out now. He has about a 5-car length lead over Alf Barbagallo, and very shortly they'll be starting to lap the slower cars. Now this is where drama is going to happen. There is no question about that, because the lead cars are travelling considerably faster than the cars that they're just about to come up to lap. There is the first car that is going to be put a lap down on. That is Laurie Solgiovanni from the Northern Territory. And this is where the lead could change. Ron Cricky leading, but Alf Barbagallo is driving absolutely off the planet at the moment. He's well and truly up there in second place. In fact, Ron Cricky's gone wide. He has allowed Alf Barbagallo through, and also Gary Rush has moved up there. So Gary Rush has moved into second place. Ron Cricky has gone from first to third in less than a lap. Oh, drama unfolding before your very eyes. The inaugural World Sprint Car title for 1987. We see Alf Barbagallo from Western Australia in front. Gary Rush in second place. Back there to third place, car number 99, which is Ron Cricky. But this race is a long way from over. There is 25 laps remaining. 25 laps remaining, and now the race leaders are starting to lap the slower cars as Gary Rush moves into first place. Gary Rush from New South Wales, that was a beautiful piece of driving. He managed to stay all 4 wheels on the racetrack, and he has now moved into first place. Alf Barbagallo into second. Then way back to Ron Cricky from Western Australia in third. Danny Lasowski from America in fourth. Further back to Jimmy Souls in 5th place. Further again back to the young
Northern Territory driver, that is Stephen Arrigo. But this is absolutely world-class sprint car racing. With the man on screen, Gary Rush, brilliant camera work there, as he now starts to move up on a slower competitor. So any moment, the West Australian champion, Lee Foster, isn't going to be lapped by Gary Rush. We'll pick them up as they come onto the main straight. There is Lee Foster. Gary Rush now starts to move up, and he goes under him. Oh, this time he bounced off the curb. He had about 2 wheels on the grass. Hopefully for him, the stewards weren't looking, but Gary Rush still leading. Smoke starts to pour off the back tyres, and this is going to be a very crucial time indeed for the race cars, because once the tyres go off, this is the saying we have in Speedway, once those tyres go off, that means the tyre is completely bald, and it cannot work, it cannot get the traction it needs to keep the car racing at high speed, and the car becomes very bad in the handling department, and it starts to drift left, right and centre across the racetrack, and a driver can go from well, chocolates to boiled lollies in less than a few laps, and already smoke is starting to pour from the rear of car number 25. That is the huge big rear drive tyre, the tyre that gives Gary Rush the traction he needs to keep this car in A1 racing condition. Well, Gary Rush, our race leader, is coming up behind the American Shane Carson. The next car he'll be putting a lap on will be the American Rocky Hodges. So Gary Rush is driving a precision race at the moment, and I cannot speak highly enough of the former 7 times Australian champion. There he is, he's just past Shane Carson. Now he is coming up onto the rear of the blue car. That is Rocky Hodges from Des Moines, Iowa, in America. Gary Rush is just about to put a lap down on him. There he goes, flying by the inside of Rocky Hodges. Now he has his sights set on another slower car. The move over flag to the slower competitors given. It looks like Kramer Williamson from America is going to be the next driver who is going to be lapped by Gary Rush. Well, just recently the America's Cup was lost here in Western Australia. America reclaimed the America's Cup. It was a very sad day for Australia, but gee, Gary Rush is flying the flag high for Australia because he wants to make sure that the inaugural World Sprint Car title, the trophy, is kept here in Australia, and the way that he is lapping these Americans is treating this crowd of 18 to 20,000 fans, most of which are Australians. They are enjoying every moment of this. Well, the caution lights have come on. We've got a car in the fence. It is the young Northern Territory driver, Stephen Arrigo. He has gone heavily into the fence, and once again, the red lights have come on. That means that there will be a complete race stoppage. It is the young 16-year-old driver from the Northern Territory, Stephen Arrigo, has gone into the safety fence very heavily indeed, but it looks like he is okay. It looks like he is okay. That car crashed very heavily into the fence up there on the entrance to the main straight, and that is extremely bad luck to the man who was holding down in about 5th place. The ambulance crew just racing to his attendance. That is his father there with NT number 1. The person with the hand on Stephen's helmet, that is his father, Charlie Arrigo. Well, we certainly hope that that driver is not seriously hurt. The crash helmet is being removed, and looks like now we'll have to pick the inaugural World Sprint Car Championship up at the 2nd restart.
Into motoring. I'd be better time.
The 2nd restart now of the 1987 inaugural World Sprint Car Championship. It's underway with just 14 laps remaining after a red light stop, which has involved the race crash of Stephen Arrigo, but Arrigo has been allowed to restart in his former position just prior to the crash. Well, action aplenty happening out on the raceway at the moment as drama is unfolding. this history-making speedway event being staged here at Claremont Speedway in Western Australia, with the New South Wales driver Gary Rush leading. In second place is the West Australian driver, car number 77, Elf Barbagallo. Then we go back to the American, Danny Losowski in third position. Then back to the American, that's Jimmy Buckwheat Sills. Further back there to the Australian champion, Brett Lacey, driving a very well-judged race indeed. Well, this is absolutely world-class sprint car action. You cannot see better. And this huge crowd tonight of 18 to 20,000 people, well and truly being entertained by the glamour division of Speedway. This $500,000 production with just 10 laps remaining. And it's Gary Rush, New South Wales leading. The local hero, Elf Barbagallo in second place. Danny Losowski in third from America. Then we go back to fellow American. That is, of course, Jimmy Buckwheat Sills, and further back to the Australian champion, Brett Lacey. Action aplenty on the raceway at the moment, as we see car number 25, Gary Rush, still leading. There he is on screen as he powers through turn number 3 and 4, goes under Laurie Solgiovanni of the Northern Territory, puts another lap on him. So Gary Rush driving a precision race. Oh, the lights have come on once again. Kramer Williamson has gone up against the fence at the exit of turn number 2. The yellow lights are on. Kramer Williamson from America has spun just out of turn number 2. There he is on screen. It looks like he's okay, and that is great to see. And that is a battle-scarred race car. You can see Kramer Williamson has borrowed a wing from a fellow competitor because his wing was damaged in a race accident last night. But it looks like the race for Kramer Williamson, this world title, is well and truly over. As the caution lights come on, the drivers line up with just 8 laps remaining. And again, we'll pick the 1987 America's Cup Festival of Sport World Sprint Car Championship, this inaugural event being held here in Perth, Western Australia, back up at the restart. Restart number 3 underway with just 8 laps remaining of this world title. And it is incredible that we still have 19 cars on the raceway. Well, the action continues down the back straight with Gary Rush still in a commanding position. The West Australian driver, Elf Barbagallo, is in second place. Danny Losowski from America is in third. Then back to Jimmy Sills, followed by the Australian champion Brett Lacey. Further back to George Tatnell from New South Wales. Then the American driver Rocky Hodges. That's the blue car, I should say. Further back there to the Victorian driver Max Boland, car number 20. But our race leader, car 25 from New South Wales, a man who has mastered just about every race track in the land with just 5 laps remaining. 5 laps away from becoming the inaugural World Sprint Car title, and just 2 years ago on this very track, while in this same position, he blew a rear tyre. The rear tyre of his race car let go. It cost him the Australian title. And no doubt that Gary Rush could be thinking that if the horrors set in again, the same thing could happen. Let's certainly hope not, because he is now just 3.5 laps away from becoming the 1987 inaugural World Sprint Car title holder. There he is, Gary Rush, a brilliant drive. In second place, Elf Barbagallo, and Barbagallo's also driving the race of his life. There he is on screen, and the local crowd is absolutely going crazy because they know that Elf Barbagallo has done everything in his power to try to win this World Sprint Car title. There he is, car number 77, and he will not be disgraced at all. But our race leader has driven a superb race, and he comes up now with just over 1 lap remaining. So Gary Rush has 1 lap to go, and there he is as he races down the back straight for the final time. The checkered flag is coming out. This is the double checkered flag. It is coming out now to Gary Rush of New South Wales. In second place will go to Elf Barbagallo from Western Australia. In third position, Danny Losowski from America. In fourth position goes to car number 75 from America. That is Jimmy Buckwheat Sills, followed by the Australian champion. Then we go back to George Tatnell. Looks like Rocky Hodges was the next best. Then back to either Max Boland from Victoria or Shane Carson. And the time for the last 8 laps, the wins time was 2:17.41. But the 1987 inaugural World Sprint Car Champion is car number 25 from New South Wales, Gary Rush.
And now for the official presentations, and what a great drive and a very, very proud man. It's over to Conmigro.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's no doubt about this man. No matter where he goes, if it's America, New Zealand, anywhere in Australia, he was without doubt, as I said before we introduced him tonight, he is the finest sprint car driver this country has ever produced. He has won 7 Australian titles, and then tonight, to cap off a wonderful speedway career, he is the 1987 inaugural World Sprint Car Champion, Mr. Gary Rush, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that was just incredible, Gary. That was just amazing. Congratulations. Tremendous effort.
Gary, a guy that came up, he said you're going to crack the sub-15, so a consolation of an extra $50. I'm sure that'll help you. But Gary, it's been a great privilege and honour to invite you to come and race at the finest speedway track in this country and probably the world in my book. But you've done it very proud once again. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Well, to win a race like this, you know, it's, as Con said earlier, that it's capped off a great career, and, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to go, but I'm enjoying racing at the moment, so we'll keep on enjoying it, and while I keep winning, I guess I'll keep on enjoying it. But, you know, people don't realise how much work goes into cars like this, and we've changed motors twice in 2 days, and we went back to we ran one motor on Thursday night, and we thought, well, we found a small problem with that, and then we changed another one for last night, so we went back to another one. But the guys that done all that work, I owe it all to them, because without them and all the other pit crews throughout Australia, you know, there would not be any racing, because there's a lot of work goes into these cars. And I thank all the pit crews, thank you very much, and I thank all the people for coming, and I thank my sponsors, Ivan Walker, Winfield, and Adja Boyles, and the Western Australian government for putting on it, and Conmigro, the promoter, for putting on a very ambitious show like this. I thank you very much.
Yeah, we are the champions of the world, and there they are, numbers 1, 2 and 3 in the world. Gary Rush, the world sprint car champion, the greatest sprint car champion in the world today. Alf Barbagallo, second. Danny Lasowski, third.
The next event on Australian Speedway is the Mick Tilby Invitation Sprint Car Race. And Mick Tilby, who has been a director at Claremont Speedway here in Western Australia, he's been the chairman of directors for over 40 years, has handpicked these drivers to compete in a special 10-lap event. They are racing for in excess of $1,000 in prize money, and they race down the back straight with the Victorian car number 75, Bill Burrows. In actual fact, he is a South Australian, but the car that he is driving is from the John Sidney workshop, and John Sidney is from Victoria, and thus that's why Victoria 75 is painted on the tail of that machine. But Bill Burrows from South Australia is leading. In second place, we'll try to pick him up as they come onto the main straight. It could be the American driver, Jimmy Sills. It is, and well, buckwheat Jimmy Sills has certainly been involved in some tremendous racing tonight, but we've got action on the main straight. Lee Foster has turned it around. That is the current state champion here in Western Australia. The other driver involved in the accident was Rocky Hodges from America, from Des Moines, Iowa in America. But it looks like both drivers are going to be climbing out of the race car. Lee Foster is. And that's great to see. Lee Foster, in fact, was involved in a very nasty accident earlier this week while preparing for the World Sprint Car title, in which he received suspected back injuries, but he has recovered to take part in this very history-making night down here at Claremont Speedway in Western Australia. We'll pick the invitation race back up at the restart. The restart now for the Mick Tilby Invitation race with the South Australian Bill Burrows off the front row as they come onto the main straight now, and they're under racing condition, and the front inside tyre of Bill Burrows' car is very loose indeed. That could give him some problem as the race goes on, as they charge down the back straight now. We'll keep an eye on Bill Burrows' car number 75. Meanwhile, we've got the American from Sacramento in the United States. That is Jimmy Souls up in second place, and the driver up in third place is the 15-year-old from America, Jeff Gordon. This man has certainly, well, this teenager has certainly been one of the crowd favourites of this world title. And just have a look at the battle going on for first and second. Jimmy Souls working overtime behind car number 75. That's the yellow car 75, because the race leader in the white car 75 is Bill Burrows from South Australia, driving the Victorian entrant in this world title. That's the John Sidney car, but meanwhile we've had a race change because Jimmy Souls has slipped straight into the race lead, and I would say that Bill Burrows is feeling the effect of an ill-handling car because the front tyre of car number 75 is not handling well. It's worked itself very, very loose indeed. Well, Jeff Gordon looks like he's going to move up into second place. There he goes under Bill Burrows, and that problem with the steering on board car number 75, the white car, would certainly be making Bill Burrows work overtime behind the wheel. We have the West Australian driver. That's Ian Bonza Bradford. Will just move up now and pass Bill Burrows. There they go as they race onto the main straight now. So our race leader from the US of A is car number 75. That's the yellow car of Jimmy Souls. Right behind him in another yellow car is car number 16. That's the young 15-year-old Jeff Gordon as they power onto the main straight now. So the Americans certainly got the whole shot over the rest of the field in this event, because Jimmy Souls is driving a very well-judged race. So is the young teenager in second place, Jeff Gordon. In fact, Gordon is now starting to close the gap with just 6 laps remaining. 6 laps remaining in this Mick Tilby Invitation race. They're racing for something like $1,500 in prize money for this one race. And we have Jimmy Souls just out in front, but Jeff Gordon is closing. Well, the teacher and the apprentice could best describe these two drivers. Jimmy Souls is the teacher. He has been driving sprint cars for many years. He is one of the most experienced on the American racing scene. The teenager in second place, there he is, car number 16, has only been racing sprint cars for the last 10 months. And we've got a race and a half on our hands with about just under 4 laps remaining now. And it's Jimmy Souls just out in front, but have a look at Jeff Gordon. He's starting to close the gap. There is now only about 2 car lengths between Jimmy Souls and Jeff Gordon as they come onto the main straight. 3 laps remaining now. So the pressure well and truly being applied to Jimmy Souls by the young 15-year-old Jeff Gordon. Down the back straight now. Well, Jimmy Souls managed to kick away something on that last lap. And there is now about 5 car lengths between first and second. 2 laps remaining. Ian Bonza Bradford's gone into third place. Then back to Danny Lasowski, car number 12. Further back there to Bill Burrows. But the action is first and second as the cars move out of turn number 4 onto the main straight with 1 lap to go. And it's the American Jimmy Souls in second place. Jeff Gordon, well, they're racing for the checkered flag now, and Jimmy Buckwheat Sills moves out of turn number 3 and 4, goes to greet the double checkered flag, and it's going to be Jimmy Sills from the United States first. In second place will be Jeff Gordon, also from the United States. Then back to car number 6, the former West Australian champion Ian Bradford. In 4th position was the American Danny Lasowski, and the wins time for the 10 laps in the Mick Tilby Invitation race, just coming up on screen, was 3:52.60. The next event on Australian Speedway to conclude this 1987 World Sprint Car title night is the Rob Grinoff stunt team performing the ultimate high ramp car dive bomb spectacular. Any moment now we'll be seeing the car coming out of the pits at that gate that you see in front of you at extremely high speed. They'll then be racing to the ramp and will leap over the ramp and into those 12 cars, and in doing so it will explode in a cloud of flame. This will be a very spectacular event indeed.
this presentation, and here comes the car at extremely high speed. Now comes out of the gate. He's well and truly on line. The Rob Grinoff stunt team is going to perform the ultimate high ramp car dive bomb explosion. Let's have a look. Oh, what a magnificent leap by him. And there it was. Unfortunately, the explosion didn't occur. But what a tremendous stunt that was. That car leapt about 30 metres in the air. And the crowd of about 18 to 20,000 people certainly did enjoy that very spectacular performance.
I hope there's going to be another one year or two's time and we'll be back here trying to win that.
And Tony out here, where are you? Put your hand, Tony out here, he's good, I have you ready for that one. Tony, you're up, all right.
Well, a very proud moment for me to be standing with this man, and I'm sure a very proud moment for him. I've seen him win an Australian title. I saw him lose an Australian title at this very track. Here he is now back here at Ian Diffin Claremont Speedway to take out the world title here, the inaugural 1987 World Sprint Car Championship. Gary Rush, how does it feel?
Feels very nice. It always feels very good to be a winner, but, you know, we done our homework and it worked very good for us. You know, we had the right tyres, we had the cars exceptionally good, and, you know, I'm just so happy to win a major race like this, you know.
We thought, speaking with you before the race, that tyres may have been a problem. How did the tyres wear on your car?
Perfect. We made every decision was the right one, and we knew we were going to be slow for the first 5 or 10 laps, but after that it was all over.
I've heard a rumour down the line that you raced that entire race, 35 laps here at Ian Diffin Claremont Speedway, with a crack in a crankshaft. Is that true?
Yeah, we found a crack in the crankshaft today, but it was our real quick motor, and I didn't think I could win with the other motor, so we took a gamble with the motor, and it's come off for us.
Gary, Australian title holder many, many times, now a world title holder. Anything else you'd like to do as far as motor racing is concerned?
Win Hardy Friday.
Gary Rush, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations, a true champion, and look forward to seeing you here at the home of Speedway in Australia, Ian Diffin Claremont Speedway.
Thanks for having us, and I'd like to thank Ian Diffin for sponsoring this racetrack. Thank you.
Okay, speaking now with the man who ran second in the inaugural 1987 World Sprint Car Championship, Alf Barbagallo. Congratulations, certainly a tremendous drive. You just didn't quite have it to catch Gary Rush. He was off and running very, very fast, but I certainly liked the way you went past him in that first couple of laps. How did that feel?
Well, that felt real good, but I knew Gary had a harder tyre than us and we had a softer tyre, and that would have been the reason for passing him early on. And let's face it, Gary, he is Australia's best, and I don't mind running second to him.
Certainly a great job. You're teaming up with Jeff Murphy again, a very formidable combination. You must be proud. What's going to happen for next year?
Well, I don't know about next year, but we've still got the season to finish this year, and Jeff certainly knows how to put the car together. I could finish the race, and it was going real good.
Turning our attention now to Jeff Murphy, and looking very, very dirty and very, very tired. Jeff, it's been a long weekend for you, a lot of racing. The boys in the crew have worked very, very hard. Just your thoughts on how things have gone?
I think it went really, really well. You know, like to come out here and run second to Gary was a pretty good achievement. We would have liked to win, like everyone else would have liked to win, but as I think just exactly what Alf said, you know, running second to Gary is nothing to be sneezed at. I'd like to thank all the guys like Tony Bartlett and Tony Cabetti and Tony Saragazan and all the boys that really helped us over the weekend, because without them we wouldn't have been, and Nick and that, and we wouldn't have been able to do the job we do, because, you know, we've all got certain little jobs to do, and everyone did their job, and Alf drove the car perfectly. You know, we lost brakes in the first lap, but even without them it would have been a hard job to pull Gary back, and, you know, we put the wrong tyre on at the start, but, you know, lucky there was a stoppage and we'd be able to get on with the job. No, it was a great race, and just very proud of what Alf did, and it was just a very, very important race for us.
The 86-87 season, Alf, has been a very, very important one for you. Been a very, very financial one. I guess you've got some sponsors you'd like to thank too.
Yes, I'd like to thank all the sponsors Actually, who do I start with? I've got Sander, I've got 96 FM, I've got Ravi, Forday, Russell Smith. Who have I left out, Jeff?
Jeff Murphy.
Jeff Murphy, Nissan, Castrol, they're all there.
Okay, congratulations, fellas, on running second in the 1987 World Sprint Car Championship. Look forward to catching up with you down here at Ian Diffin Claremont Speedway in the weeks to come.
Thanks very much, sir.
Okay. Well, at the age of 15, I guess there's a lot of guys in Western Australia would love to be in this young fella's shoes. Jeff, firstly, welcome to Western Australia, and tell us, how did you get into sprint car racing at such a young age?
Well, I really enjoy Australia for one thing. It's great, the weather and everything. The track's pretty nice. But getting into sprint cars, I think pretty much the only reason that I got into it is because there was another young kid in the United States who had started racing sprint cars. And I've always wanted to race sprint cars. I started off in go-karts and quarter midgets, which are just a really low scale sprint car. And I raced those for 9 years, ever since I was 5. So, you know, sprint cars has always been there. I've always been to sprint car races, and I always wanted to drive them. And when the opportunity came up, I took the chance. So here I am.
Can you remember your very first drive in a V8 powered sprint car?
It was very exciting. Really, it was pretty scary. You know, it really, I don't know how to say it, but I didn't expect that much power. I mean, it really, you know, it's got a lot of power, and you don't realize it until you get in it.
Whereabouts are you from in America, and how long have you been racing sprinters? And tell us about some of the highlights of your sprint car racing career.
Well, right now I'm in Pittsburgh, Indiana, but we just moved there over this summer. And I used to live in California, near San Francisco area. And this is my 3rd year in the sprint car. And the last season I've done really well. I've many seconds, 3rds, 4ths, top 5. I just about every race. I won 2 feature events this year. And I had 1 track record earlier, but it got broke at the end of the year. So it's getting better and better every year.
Okay, I see the boys are starting to get ready now for the feature race. Just before you go, perhaps you can tell us, obviously you're anxious to win this big event here at Claremont, the inaugural 1987 World Sprint Car titles. Any other ambitions when you get back to the States?
Oh yeah, I want to keep going as far as I can go, win some outlaw features. This is definitely a really big deal to me, being a world championship, and I'd really like to win this. I think tonight I got a pretty good chance. We got the car working really well, and just in the U.S. there's so many races to attend to, and the purses are really, really big, and I'd like to win any of those.
Well, Jeff Gordon, time to don the helmet and get back out there for the feature race. All the best tonight, young, and for the feature race, and all the best tomorrow for the all-important final for the world title.
Thank you.
You know, Perth's always been good to me over the last couple of years, and I just hope it's good to me again this year.
Gary, watching you last night, you seem to be running very, very strong towards the end of the races, sitting back, letting the boys run. Is this the style of driving you prefer?
No, sprint car racing is sprint car racing. That's where it gets the name from, sprint racing. You get to the front and maintain your lead, you know. No, you don't sit back in sprint car racing, but you know, it was just the luck of our heats last night where we ended up, you know. There's a lot of good guys out there, and you just can't beat them all, you know.
Just your impressions of the American drivers here tonight at Claremont Speedway.
Well, there's some very good Americans here, and, you know, Shane Carson, Rocky Hodges, and, you know, a few of the other boys, they're all very good companions. There's a couple of young guys there I don't know, but Bob Trossel, you know, he's been around racing a long time, and he wouldn't bring out anyone that wouldn't be able to do the job.
Your car certainly seems to be on the pace. I guess the secret tomorrow is going to be whether you can hang on to tyres for some 35, 40 laps. When you competed in the Australian titles here a couple of years ago, you had an unfortunate incident with tyres. I guess that will stick in your mind tomorrow night?
Well, that particular incident, we run over someone's busted engine, you know, and they just cut the tyre open, and that's what gives us a flat tyre. No, we've got this track covered pretty well. We've got tyres, I think you can go 35, 40 laps. But, you know, it is a problem. It's pretty dry out there, and it's eating tyres up, and, you know, you're going to really have to have some good rubber on, the right type of rubber to suit the track.
Gary, thanks for talking to us tonight. I know you've got a lot of work to do with the car. All the best for tomorrow night in the all-important final.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Speaking now with the third place getter in the inaugural 1987 World Sprint Car Championship, Danny Lakoski. Danny, congratulations. You've just been handed the cup by the crew. Danny, congratulations. A good drive. What did you think of it out there?
Well, I didn't know what to expect when we come down here. This is the first time I come down under, and Marcaro and Dwayne Robick and his boy Michael helped us get the deal dialed in. It took us a while. It took us 2 nights to get it going pretty good, but we come down on top.
You were certainly closing very fast on Elf Barbagallo there in the closing stages. Another few laps, you reckon you could have had him?
I think maybe we could have. I was hoping a couple more laps we'd run.
Most of the problems have been with cars, particularly the local cars, the Australian cars, in particular the Western Australia cars, is tyres and finishing off the racing with lack of rubber on the tyres. How did you find they wear?
They wore a little bit, but I think we could have went about 10 more laps with ours. We was looking real good on them.
So you're running a real hard compound?
Not really. We just wasn't scooting the car as much as Australian drivers. We were more driving her a little straight and saving our rubber till the end.
You've had your first taste of sprint car racing here in Australia. Can we see you back?
I'm ready to come back anytime you want me.
Claremont Speedway, one of the biggest circuits in Australia, one of the biggest circuits in the world. Just your thoughts on the way it's been run here this weekend and the circuit itself.
Con has did a fantastic job with the program. He's organized it real good. They have prepared the track real good, and it's just an honor to be represented over here for the United States.
Because you knocked off his record, but a great job. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, a bit louder than that. Phil Meacham.
Oh, thanks very much. I tried the first time in third gear. She just wasn't going fast enough. It didn't have the pull in third, so I went back and did it in second, and she performed beautifully. It was great.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Meacham here at the World Headquarters of Speed. And let me personally thank you very much indeed for making this a history-making weekend.